Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whiskey. My name's Vin PF, and on today's episode we're going to be going back to the Glasgow 1770 to check out one of their new releases. Now you guys know I'm a massive fan of Glasgow 1770. I buy quite a lot of their releases. This one, however, they did send to me along with two other samples which you might have seen on a sample Saturday just gone. If you haven't seen that video yet, I would definitely recommend you check that out after watching this one, because this is kind of a trio of releases that all came out at the same time, all different kind of cask finishes, small batch, let's say. So they kind of want to be taken in context of each other as well as the distillery as a whole. But yeah, thanks to them for sending me over a full-size bottle of this, and it gives me an opportunity to get into it with a bit more depth, a bit more detail. Now, as you might have seen from the title and the thumbnail, this right here is the Manzanilla Sherry Cask finish. And let me tell you, this is a monster of a dram. It's 59%. Now, the other thing to say as well is that, unfortunately, this seems to be sold out everywhere. So, although I'm going to be sort of covering it and going through it today, I don't think you're going to be able to get hold of it. So, that's a shame. Hopefully you can find it, but I'm going to caveat this review now and say, obviously you go and do whatever you want to do with your cash, but I don't really condone the secondary market, especially when the kind of rates get really, really high. Obviously it has its bonuses for people that can't get hold of things normally. It's an excellent way of being able to get things shipped further abroad, let's say. But yeah, this is going to prove to be quite popular, so I imagine that the kind of scalpers and whatnot, whatever you want to call them, might try and take advantage of that over the first month. So yeah, basically maybe let that calm down before you go there, because this was originally 59 quid, which usually I talk about value a little bit later on, but that's unbelievably good value for this whiskey, as well as the kind of other two in this range, which I think are still available. So yeah, anyway, this bottle here then, we have the Manzanilla Sherry Cask, as I said earlier, 59%, 59 quid. It's a full-size bottle. Gone are the days when Glasgow did their kind of half-litre bottles, which I enjoyed, by the way, but that's pretty cool. The thing I like about Glasgow is that they are, a relatively young distillery. This is only a young whiskey. It's 5 years old. We've got some dates that we can talk about as well. It was distilled on the 12th of March 2018 and bottled quite a long time ago, actually, the 25th of July 2023. Interestingly enough, when I went to visit them in November, we saw these in a warehouse that we weren't allowed to film in. So unfortunately, we couldn't kind of tell the world about that. Not that we would anyway, but we didn't have any footage of that. So we saw these casks. We were like, this sounds pretty good. So they've been sitting on this for a while. Lord knows how other people do that sort of thing. This is marketing that I don't really understand, because I'm very much of a kind of like, get it out. I want to see it out, but they're a master of timing. But yeah, so this has been around for a while. A new one for them, they've been playing around with 3 different kinds of liquid. They've got their double distilled, their triple distilled, and their peated. They've been playing around with cask types. They're not sitting still, they're not sitting on their hands, they're trying loads of different stuff. Some people call for a more kind of focused thing, but I love that exploration. That's one of the things I love about these guys. So yeah, this is the first time they've tried this Manzanilla Sherry Cask, but the interesting thing about that is it's actually a refill sherry cask. So, it had sherry in it, and then it had some peated single malt. I want to say, yeah, it just says single malt. It doesn't say scotch. Then it had some peated single malt in it, and then it had this in it. So it's had a journey, this cask. It's had a bit of a journey. Not sure how much Manzanilla influence goes through after that, but the mixture of all of that, plus the peated, and this is the unpeated new make spirit. So this is their double distilled, kind of like the original classic, if you like. Lots of stuff going on, and this is a single cask whiskey. It's a big old barrel, but they managed to pull. What did they pull out of this? 813 bottles, all gone. But it's just a testament to them picking up kind of word of mouth through people like us. This people shouting about this thing, because it is an incredible whiskey. I'm going to say that up front. Okay, so the other thing I probably should say is Manzanilla Sherry is not something I'm personally familiar with in terms of an actual drink of itself. Not a huge sherry drinker, but for those not in the know, it's it's part of the Andalusia region of Spain where they make it. Very, very fine little area. It's a similar kind of sherry to Fino sherry, so it's it's not that sweet. Basically, it's quite low. It's quite dry on the scale. So it's yeah, you have sweet sherries and not sweet sherries, and this is one of the least sweet sherries, let's say. But yeah, let's get into the actual tasting and see what we've got. As always, we can talk a little bit about colour with these guys because it's non-chill filtered, natural coloured. All of their products. I say all of their products, all of their stuff under Glasgow 1770. Maybe their malt riot. I don't know. Is the truth. I've never covered that one. So they did tell me one time and it's gone. But yeah, so the colour is unbelievable. I mean, well, let me show you the bottle again. This thing it's not as deep as their PX peated, but it's for 5 years, man. That's, you know, they're doing the Lord's work at that place. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that for nothing. Okay, let's get onto the nose then and see what we've got. Now this is a crazy nose. It's, for me, I write quite literal tasting notes. For me, it's like a dank oak, trying not to err on the side of pretentiousness, but it's like walking through a forest after like really heavy rainfall. You know, you're getting that kind of like earthy, muddy, oaky kind of vibe coming through. It's really kind of dank and earthy and vegetal. There's a whole heap of like seaweed, briny air, that kind of like coastal air coming from it, along with like barbecue. I mean, I'm into my backyard grilling, and I do a lot of kind of like not cured meats, but like seasoned meats on my barbecue, on my smoker, and I'm getting a lot of that. Yeah, there's a lot to unpick in this. You could probably get something from it. I think. I mean, this has been sat out for a while, and I think it would get more earthy as it went on. Really deep. And interestingly enough, it's unlike any other 1770 dram I've had so far as well. I'll talk a little bit about that on the palate. Now, obviously, your first hurdle to entry is the monstrous ABV on this, 59%. For me, that's bang on. You know, I'm enjoying that. I'm not sure if... I don't think it's cask strength. It probably brought down just a little. But, yeah, so again, right off the front, it's extremely vegetal, extremely earthy. There's a little touch of sweetness for a moment, and then that kind of disappears off again. Some sherry notes come through. I'm getting sultanas as my main vibe of this. You know, we talk about dried fruits a lot and things like that, but it isn't extremely fruity by any stretch, and it's that kind of like, yeah, sultanas. And it's just, I cannot convey to you enough the amount of tannins that are in this thing. You know, it's. I mean, my tasting notes here say. I'll show you briefly. Excuse my terrible handwriting, if you can see that. So many tannins. It's it's unreal. It's like, it's all of it. It's wood. It's tobacco. It's leather. You know, these are notes that are on the actual livery here, but it's bang on. You know, it's just all of it at once. Very difficult to unpick, but. Yeah, as I mentioned on the nose, one of the really interesting things about this is, when I talk about Glasgow 1770 very enthusiastically, I like to talk about the fact that they've managed to link their DNA. They've woven that through their entire range. You know, their core spirit really shines through no matter what they do with it. Until now, and I don't mean this negatively at all, because I love this dram. It's really, really good. But I would never be able to pick this out as a 1770 from a blind lineup. Not a hope in hell. Nor would I be able to pick any of it out, to be honest. Whereas I feel like I know the range well enough now to maybe not pick it out, but at least know that I've tried it before. You know, a lot of their other whiskies, you can tell that it's got a similar DNA. And this is the first cask type I've seen them use that's managed to... trying to use my words carefully because I don't want to make it sound negative. It's certainly not overshadowed it, but it's definitely exceeded it slightly. So the cask is really the one that's on show here. You know, it's not necessarily their spirit, but it's definitely mingled in very well with it. I can't be more enthusiastic about it. If I'm gun to head, if I'm really honest, the Calvados cask was my favourite of the trio. From a kind of like a personal flavour profile point of view, I love that high sweetness, that kind of apple brandy coming straight through, the DNA of Glasgow 1770 shining past the cask. This came a very, very close second. And actually, I first tried it at a festival, Again, thanks to Libby. I think I said that last time. Thanks to Libby for pouring that out. And I wasn't that keen on this when I first tried it, but looking back on it in hindsight, my palate was probably far too blown out by then. I must have been 20 or so whiskies deep by then, and it probably didn't stand a chance. It just, all I was probably getting was the earthiness from it, which is definitely a high tasting note on this. So I'm super grateful for them for sending me this bottle, because I don't think I would have bought it. I think I'd have bought the Calvados instead, should my budget have stretched to it, which unfortunately it didn't this month. But yeah, I'm really glad for them for sending this over to me, because I don't think I would have tried it again. It's the truth. But now I've got it, and I'm just super glad, because it's just such an incredible whiskey. But yeah, hopefully, if you've been enthused by this again, maybe go and check out that other video and see if the tequila or the Calvados cask would move more up your street if you can't get hold of this. Or my advice really is probably just wait a month or two, because I imagine a few of these are going to pop up on auction sites this month, and I imagine they're going to probably go for a slightly inflated price. Maybe not. Keep an eye on those sites, because you might get a bargain. That's all I'm saying. Just whatever you do, don't pay inflated prices for it, because this is a whiskey drinker's whiskey. It commands being drunk, and it's just super. There you go. Anyway, enough enthusiasm. I'll catch you again on more reviews coming soon, because I'm just going to sit here and enjoy this whiskey. Cheers.